We're back. How's it, guys? Welcome back to Monday Night Racing here at Sim Race Africa. I'm excited to be back in the booth bringing this race to you tonight. As you can see from the background footage, for those of you who will know, we're at Snetterton in the UK. From the lovely drone footage going on, you can see it's an expansive circuit. You may even see remnants of an old airbase, a little bit of which I'll talk about a little bit later in the stream rather. But yeah, for now we are back with round 5 out of 7 for this season's championship. The simM2, which is of course our BMW M2 CS Racing championship. And I'm going to be getting straight into the introductions very shortly. As you can see from the clock at the top middle of your screen, you've got about 2 minutes left of free practice, after which we're going to go into a 15-minute qualifying session. You can also see some spots of rain on the circuit. You've got a little weather forecast in the top right. You can see that it looks a little bit of sun, partly cloudy, but critically you can see a little plus sign. So that rain, I think, is expected to get a little heavier. So certainly going to present some challenges to the drivers we have on circuit today. We see Grumpy Monkey guys just leaving the track there as our helicam sort of just does a little speed wobble. But while we wait, I'm going to bring you some information and catch you up with where we are with things. Just looking at a little bit more detail on the track layout itself tonight. The Snetterton circuit, of course, being a motor racing circuit in Norfolk, England. It's been around, it's extremely old. 1953 it originally opened. Before then it was actually being operated as an RAF, as a Royal Air Force airfield base, as a lot of the circuits in the UK and surrounds used to be, of course. Using the long runways and whatnot for the aircraft to take off. And throughout the decades it's seen a lot of improvements, upgrades, and most recently in about 2005, Jonathan Palmer of Motorsport Vision, essentially the owners of the Snetterton circuit currently, started the extensive rebuilding work, which lengthened the circuit and brought it up to modern standards. There's essentially 3 circuits available at Snetterton, commonly known as the 100, the 200 and the 300. The 100 is the very small circuit on the infield that you'll see with the names Hamilton, Agostini, Palmer. That's essentially that little loop there is the Snetterton 100. The Snetterton 200 is essentially the outer loop. So if you had to exclude the infield, and on the Snetterton 300 is essentially both of those combined, so both the infield and the outfield. Just shout out quickly to our viewers in chat signing off already. James the Red got saying, how's it? May need a little bit more volume on the mic. I'm gonna boost myself a little. So yeah, let me just know if that's a little bit better. And Rob Precy, sorry, shouting for Shiren. That's Shiren Rajpal, of course. Let's have a quick look at the weather forecast. So, as I mentioned earlier, we've got some rain out and about. Track conditions currently greasy. We'll have to see what the conditions flip to in qualifying and certainly race. But the average ambient temperature is sitting at about 10 degrees. Rain at 10%, cloud 55%, with a slight amount of randomness in it. And what I'm going to quickly do now is flick to drive again. And yeah, partly cloudy with a high chance of rain showers. Looking at it now in the background, the track conditions are damp. Just looking at the top right hand corner there, you can see what's coming up in the next 10 minutes and 30 minutes in the top right, and that just looks like a little bit more rain from what I can see. In fact, there's a little minus sign there, so it is going to lighten up a little bit as things go along. While we wait as well for the qualifying to get underway with the first few laps, championship standing, just looking at that so long. So this is unadjusted without any drop rounds. We have Charles Wilkin leading the pack followed by Ross Bartle and Sean Bingham rounding up the top 3. But there's a lot of guys in the wings: Jonathan Benz, Fridge Finley, Roxanne Bartle, Chrissy Simon, James Leach, Yassine Manuel, Renia Leach rounding out your top 10, and certainly even a few more drivers further down that maybe have already taken their drop round and thus may still be in contention with some of those top guys who I believe have completed many of, or all of them, attended all of the rounds so far. So yeah, all to play for, and yeah, let's watch these guys go around as we see qualifying get underway. So no one banking a lap just yet. Obviously it's only just started, so we'll see who is out up ahead. It looks like Grumpy Monkey is very eager and keen out of the gates. I've got following Ross Bartle here, of course. Sas van der Westhuizen's out on track as well. Nick Hodgson, forgetting offhand who the 4th Grumpy Monkey driver is for the top teams. We've also got the academy teams on track present today. I've got Charles Wilkin. If I can find him, my camera car is not picking him up just yet. There we see one of the yellow Design Co cars in the background there, just beyond Nick Hudson. Sean Bingham for Point Blank Sim Racing. And currently Sas van der Westhuizen out here reporting as P1 on my timetables, but still got to get through the track, of course. Just going to attempt to reconnect my broadcasting app. Maybe on board with Hannes van Vex for Venomworks Racing at the moment. Ooh, we see someone going off in the foreground there. I've lost control of my camera app. Apologies for the ACC bugs. I'm going to quickly hop to a short ad break and rejoin the game, and we'll be back with you shortly. Alrighty, we are back, and I believe I should now have full control of the cameras again. Fortunately, ACC broadcasting tools known for its bugs. But yeah, there we go. I'm able to now change camera cars again. So we see Jono Bents for Ghostwork Racing just climbing out of the pits. And we've got our tower showing now as well. That was also bugged. It's now re-showing again, thankfully. We can see the first few times coming out on the tower. Charles Wilkin currently leading the pace with a 2 minutes 7 seconds 570. Ross Bartle about a second behind. Nick Hudson a second and a half behind. Sass just behind him. So yeah, a lot of time to play for right now. But Charles Wilkin currently enjoying a healthy lead of a second. Track conditions are greasy, so it's moved from damp. And as you can see for the forecast in the top right, the rain is lightening a little. So we should be able to see that track, the dynamic surface and the dry line progress. And the lap times accordingly will continue to fall. Current ambient temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, track temperature 21 degrees Celsius. There's not a breath of wind saying 0 kilometers an hour, so any of these raindrops are just literally falling straight out of the sky, straight down. And nothing going to affect the track from a wind perspective right now. Let's have a look at how Nick is doing currently. In third position, he's looking to make up about a second and a half if he wants to take pole position, but at least just over a half a second if he wants to nip his teammate Ross Bartle in the bud. I'm going to jump around and see who else is there on track tonight. Gideon Bernardi for Bernardi Alphabet Racing in his yellow and blue livery. And making his way around. I've got Emily Bents for Ghostwork Racing. Making her way around. The pair of Gideon, we've got Chris Bernardi for Bernardi Alphabet Racing. We've got Shivi Bassoon for SB Racing. Oh, he's just bumped himself up into 11th, just outside of the top 10, banking that lap. Sean Bingham is out there for Point Blank Sim Racing. Team Leach, so James Leach Sr. currently in P16. Ooh, someone just behind him managing to avoid contact there, but that was very close. Bjorn Buchner, Team Gunston in the Gunston livery colors, of course. Jonathan Bents, we've said hello to already. Roxanne Bartle is out there for the Grumpy Monkey Sim Racing Academy team. Renier Leach, part of the Team Leach Racing outfit. Bridge Findlay, who was representing Team Lotus Register, has now made the switch to Venomworks Racing. So we see him in a new livery going around tonight. Hannes van Veek, another Venomworks Racing team member. Hardest Boyser. James Leach, more of the Leach crew. Mike LaRue, yet another Venomworks Racing team principal there. We've got Shiren Rajpaul, who Rob was shouting out for in the chat. And the rest of the Grumpy Monkey guys currently leading at the forefront of the field. Vass, Nick, Ross, and Charles Wilkin of Hard Motorsports still taking that pole position by a healthy second lead with about 5 minutes left in qualifying. Bounce around if I can see anyone up on the Delta. I believe James Leach is, but it looks like he's in traffic right now. Unfortunately stuck behind one of the Bernardi races, it looks like, so that may or may not hamper his ability to bank this lap. Alternatively enjoying a nice tow down some of the straights. Perhaps it's part of his strategy. He's just biding his time, waiting for a good long stretch. He's tucked in extremely close behind here. We'll go on board with him and see what the story is with 4 minutes left of quali. Just being held up there, but how he slips. Well, I was going to say slips through, but yeah, doesn't look to be having the greatest of time out there with the dying minutes of qualifying. Jump back to Ross Bartle now, whose time has improved, but he's still behind Charles Wilkin with a .767, coming down for about a second down. Nick Hudson still unable to improve on his time, that gap remaining at about 1.6 seconds. So we've got about 20 cars out on the grid tonight. Sadly, it does look a few people unable to make it tonight. Not sure if that's the load shedding related. One or two I did see some excuse themselves in the Discord forum earlier today, so with some work commitments. So hard luck on that, guys. Hope the work eases up and you'll join us back on track for the next round. Track still reporting as greasy, but I do see now that the weather is changing from droplets of rain to actually no rain whatsoever. So with a bit of luck in the race session, depending on how the simulated weather for the weekend progresses, I reckon we could be seeing a dry race. Maybe some spots of rain showers, we'll have to see. Of course, it's being an hour-long race with one mandatory pit stop, and we'll have to see, depending on the weather, what strategy guys go for. Hopefully they have a few options saved in their pit stop presets, just because of how unpredictable this weather may play out today. Essentially drivers need to either change their tires or they have to take on minimum 1 liter of fuel to pass a pit stop. Tires are optional, but of course, depending on how much weather is, you know, you might need to take the wet tire as opposed to a dry tire. So we'll have to see what transpires when the session flicks over to race. 16 seconds remaining. Charles Wilkin is still in P1. I've just seen Hannes van Wyk second place from Ross Bartle and is .472 behind Charles Wilkin. Very nice lap there from the Venomworks Racing team member as he pulls off at the end of qualifying. So essentially now anyone who is still out on the track will be able to complete their laps as the clock hits 0, but we have a 2-minute 50 waiting period. And anyone else out on track will need to finish off. Sharon Rajpal bailing out of his lap there, finishing in a P7 currently. A lot of drivers still out on track. You can keep an eye on the tower for where you see that green bar strip change to a checkered flag, and you'll know whether drivers have completed their laps or are still on their out lap, essentially. You can see quite a few people in the pits. Actually, Fridge Finlay, I'm on board with now, is on a flyer. We'll have to see if he can improve by the time he crosses the line. He is hunting for about a 10 to 2/10 of a second. That'll be able to elevate him into 6th place ahead of SAS van der Westhuizen. Ooh, has he exceeded track limits there or not, I wonder? And that curbing, I think he has, which is why he's pulled off. I'm sure in a lot of frustration. He was clearly pushing extremely hard. I've got Rainier Leach still on his outlap. But actually no, the tower's now reporting him finished. So there we have our final starting line. Charles Wilkin, Hannes van Wyk leading a front row ahead of Ross Bartle, Mike LaRue, Sean Bingham, Nick Hodgson, and SAS van der Westhuizen. We have about a minute. I'm going to quickly hop to an ad break, and I'll catch you very shortly. Alright, we are back. As we see the cars peeling away on their rolling start, so we're not under green light racing conditions just yet. And we'll follow the pack around. We'll have a glance at the weather, and as I suspected, the rain has lightened up. And certainly for the next half an hour, which is how far we can see into the future, no rain expected whatsoever. So I'm sure everyone is going to be starting on the slick dry tire. And track conditions currently green. And assuming this rain stays away, we will see track temperatures 11, so it has cooled down a little bit, but we should see indeed the track conditions continue to improve. And I'm sure may start becoming fast before we know, perhaps even optimal, depending on what the temperature and the rain does. But yeah, we should be in for a cracker. Charles Wilkin currently leading Hannes van Wyk around on the formation lap. It's for Hard Motorsports, Venomworks Racing in P2, and then the Grumpy Monkey field of Ross Bartle. Mike LaRue, another Venomworks racer, has managed to divide the Grumpy Monkey pack. Nick Hodgson and SAS further down. In fact, Sean Bingham has also elevated himself to P5 at the death there. So, yep. Got a good mix of teams up at the front here. That could be anyone's game tonight. Looking at the rear wing here of Charles Wilkin, the exclamation of "Let's go, Brandon!" As you can hear Charles trying to warm his brakes as he gets on the accelerator, gets on the brakes, trying to warm those tires, warm those brakes, and be as optimal as possible for the start. They'll also begin to bunch the pack up. They'll be getting into the double file formation before the last set of corners. We'll flip back to a heli cam as well for the start of the race, just to get a bird's eye view of what's going on. Here we go, they're on the main straight, waiting for the lights to go green.
Green light, go, go, go.
And there they go, they're off. Pedal to the metal. We've got Charles Wilkin just ahead of Hannes van Wyk there. Spartel is trying to sneak up the inside of Hannes van Wyk. Going to stay with his helicam until we can see what's happening around the first couple of corners. A quick glance down the rest of the field. It looks like most people have got away very cleanly. And we're going to hop onto the trackside cameras now. There's a good shot of the field coming through. It certainly looks very clean, so a good start from the field. Jumping on board with Fridge Findlay now, tucked in behind Sean Bingham. We'll go for a closer camera. Just he's had a little look there, I think, but not making any rash moves at this early point of the race. Coming through the chicane now. As they all head onto the main straight now, no real position changes as yet. Still an extremely clean lap 1 from the field. And here we have a little bit of a move from Fridge Findlay up the inside. And I think he's run a little bit wide, yeah, on exit, and he's still going to be side by side as they come through with Sean Bingham. This is this battle happening here. And Fridge is now currently in front, so I think he's got that move done. A lovely set of corners there that he set up to take that position. Fridge Findlay, having made that move down, he is staring at the back of his teammate Mike LaRue, who is in turn staring at the back of his other teammate Hannes van Wyk. So certainly a strong showing here from Veneworks Racing at the start of this race. But meanwhile, out at the front, Charles Wilkin heading out this back straight here for Hard Motorsport Racing is got a bit of a healthy gap here, almost a second to Ross Bartle behind. Coming through in the background of your picture now in the blue livery. Just looking further down the field, I've just seen Emily Bence unfortunately have a bit of an off. Not sure if that was in result with a collision or what. We can go 30 seconds back. and attempt to find out what happened. Oh, looks like a bit of bunching under the field here. Did she... hopefully didn't collide with her teammate Jogebed, going up the inside here with a Grumpy Monkey Academy car 519 behind. Oh, and unfortunately just loses it there off the exit and goes spinning off into the grass and makes her way around and rejoins safely with no traffic. So Emily will have her work cut out for her at the moment. A little bit of a recovery drive then. Jumping back up the field, I've got Nick Hodson here having a little look at the back of James Leach. What we can do is go and jump on board with James Leach and just look over his rear wing at the back of Nick Hodson and just see how close he gets under braking. Ooh, tantalizingly close there. Got Hardest Boyser tucked in behind Bjorn Buchner here. You can see the Team Gunston livery just ahead. Car number 23 being chased down by car 103. Bjorn Buchner himself is just behind Kylian Bernardi here. And down the main straight, oh, someone's lagging. Unfortunately, the car is just blinking in and out of view. Hopefully that doesn't result in a collision. It looks like it's stabilized yet again. It looks like Kylian Bernardi's BMW, the front of it's a little bit crumpled, so sporting a little bit of damage there, as you can see coming around. But Kylian is still under pressure here from Bjorn Buchner, who's trying to fend off Hardest Boyser from behind. He was run a bit wide there, and that's actually going to dip a wheel right onto the grass, and Stake unfortunately has lost him a couple of positions and put him under pressure from teammate Chris Bernardi behind. So just a minor mistake there, leading out to a couple of positions being lost. I'm going to jump back up to Nick Hodson here, who's reporting a battle with James Leach in the red car ahead, and just behind him Shiren Raj Paul. These three drivers neck and neck, riding that curb quite aggressively. I would think it would upset the car a little. How's it to Anthony Moritz in chat saying, slowly, slowly, catchy monkey. And oh, an aggressive pull out of Nick on the main straight, and they're going to go side by side through this corner. That is risky, and Shiren Raj Paul is also licking his chops and trying to get in on this action, now forcing his car to be side by side with Nick. And I think Nick had to back out a little there just for safety's sake, take the inside line. I think he's running some good momentum there, still maintaining some track position here with James Leach. He had to take a little bit of a wiggle, and there's a massive slide by Shiren Raj Paul there. You can see the flick of dust there. I think that was actually Nick dipping the wheel. But All three of these drivers, I think, doing extremely well not to have contact with one another. And Nick, yet again, running a little bit wide on that corner, perhaps just trying to eke out as much momentum and speed as possible. But you can see the ground that he's lost now out to James Leach in front. I think Mosley just trying to keep Shireen Rushball behind him. What an excellent battle. As we see this, James Leach is running wide now. And brought all three of those cars back together again. Nick's up the inside. I think that was enough of a mistake by James Leach for him to take that position. And, oh, I think he's made it stick because James Leach slams his car in between the two of them, not wanting to lose yet another position from Shireen if he managed to get his nose in front. As we hear the crew chief in the background shout for the pit window being open, there's contact. There's contact, and James Leach has unfortunately run into Nick Hodson, and I believe that might be a case for the stewards coming up. Because that looked like an incident that could have been avoided. James Leach, we do see in the background there waiting. So I think he may have realized that he may have been at fault and done the gentlemanly thing there and waited for Nick to recover ahead in front of them. So yeah, just a little bit of time lost on both drivers there. James Leach now running in P9? No, I think P12. You see the ACC tower still taking some time to catch up to these drivers. I'm going to go and find another battle on track here. Sas van der Westhuizen is all over the back of Sean Bingham, running a tight line through these corners here. I'm going to go on board with him and let's just enjoy Stas trying to hunt down this orange BMW in front of him. Sass losing a little bit of ground there to Sean Bingham ahead, doing quite well for himself at the moment. Head back down to Renier Leach, currently running P11, now trying to hunt down Nick Hodson and stay ahead of fellow teammate James Leach behind him. Unfortunately, we'll now be sporting a little bit of damage. If we flick to him, we'll no doubt, I'm sure, see the front of his BMW. And a few minor bumps and scratches, just following that collision earlier. Hopefully not doing too much performance impacting for him. Just a little bit of cosmetic and aero damage, I reckon, hopefully. Ross Bartle, meanwhile, is in P2 and looks like the Venomworks race car of Hannes van Wyk just behind him, still staying in close contention. Unlucky. What happened to Ross there? He's just managed to get it all wrong, I think. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. He just outran himself there into the braking zone, missed his marker, and fortunately hasn't hit the wall as he gets going. But that's lost him out the position to Hannes van Wyk, who in the tower should update shortly and swap those two drivers around. And I'm also sure has brought him into a little bit of trouble with the drivers behind. So there we can see in the foreground, we've just seen the red and white car of Schalwalken go through as Hannes van Wyk. I see some blue flags being waved in the background there. I think it was one of the Bernardi crew just in the middle there of Ross Bartle. Yeah, one of the Bernardi cars just behind Bartle, and Mike LaRue will be trying to get through that traffic as quickly as possible so he can make some ground up. And yep, I'm sure Ross will be kicking himself after that minor mistake. It's one little mistake and you're losing at least a position here. Up down the field we've got Roxanne Bartle hunting down James Leach now. Looking very racy through these sets of corners. Go on board with her. Like she's managed to get side by side with James. There's a little bit of a drag race, but James slams that door shut for the next corner. Just running over the bollards there. A little pitch of the dust from one of the Bernardi cars up front. So some good dicing here. From both drivers to avoid contact. And a quick look at James Leach Sr. is reporting 0.3 seconds behind Bjorn Buchner. Both cars looking a little crumpled, have been in the wars at some point. Perhaps recently, as we see Bjorn Buchner unfortunately just outbrake himself there and go wide, yielding or losing out on the position to James Leach Sr. there. Further up the midfield again, we see the blue flags being waved, the traffic coming through. Nick Hudson on board now. Chasing down Shivesh or Shivy Bassoon. But Francois Bernardi shining for the Bernardi bros in chat. How's it, Francois? We see in the background of there. I think that's just some back market traffic getting out of the way. Down the main straight now. I don't think Nick has enough of an advantage to try and make a move on Shivesh here. Just staying tucked in nicely, nice and tight through this corner. He'll look for an advantage on the next couple of sets, just keeping that pressure. He's looking already up the inside, actually. That was a bold move, Nick, because you're going to be outbraking yourself there. And perhaps just a little bit of desperation now with that move. I think he would have done better to have just bided his time there. Fortunately, he doesn't lose out on a position, but he's lost quite a bit of ground now to Shivesh Bassoon and has placed himself at danger of being attacked by Renia Leach just behind him. Go and find another battle. Roxanne Bartle now chasing down James Leach, and I believe that might be Hardest Boyser behind him. Can catch the number of the car. No, it is not. That is one of the Bent's team of Ghostwork Livery Racing, which I believe is there for a blue flag, so not in contention for this little battle. Of Roxanne getting awfully close here to James Leach, who's going to be running slightly wide with that line. The dipping little wheel in the grass there. Trying to flatten out these corners as much as possible. Roxanne Bartle tucked in right behind you. There could be a move on the go. She swings out wide. It's a drag race now down to the bottom corner. She's going to have the inside line on this next set through the chicane and banks that move before the exit. That is a great move. Lovely, nice and clean. Great stuff to earn P12. aggressive use of the curb there. James Leach behind. And Roxanne is not out of the woods yet, because I think James Leach has got a better run on her down this main straight, and he's going to be looking for that inside dive up to T1. And I think he has enough of an overlap, and that move should be easy enough now, provided he doesn't outbrake himself. No, it looks like he's managed to do it safely. So there's a good little battle here for P12 on. I'm sure these drivers will keep swapping. And one of the Benz team, they're also staying with us. Let me see if I can figure out if that's it's not Emily, so it must be Jonathan Benz here in P19. I have a feeling he's looking to unlap himself out of the backyards here, because he certainly has some faster pace here, and he feels that he is faster as he's making a move up, or looking to make a move. He's backed out of that one up the inside. So although this is back market traffic here, I think you're entitled to do so if you know you're faster. It's going to be difficult in these cars though to make your way back up the field. And the key thing you've just got to remember here is not to make any sort of contact. It's a lot of pressure on the back of Roxanne Bottle here now. And you can see as a result the gap to James Leach in front has just opened up a little. But of course Roxanne Bottle is in turn fully entitled to defend her position as well. And we can also see, in fact, I think what's happening here is Jono Benz has completed his pit stop. As you can see, the green strip next to his name on the tower, whereas the rest of the field from P16 and up has a little number 1 in orange and white, indicating that they still need to clear their mandatory pit stops. So yeah, Jono Benz here is actually trying to make his way back up the field after an early pit stop, perhaps to repair some damage, which would have been the right thing to do. And just trying to cement his position, but I'm sure he's now being frustrated by this traffic in front of him. As Roxanne runs wide, this will be a good opportunity. And they're side by side, and I'm sure he's going to have a good chance. But Roxanne will have the inside line here. We just take a wider camera angle, and yeah, actually Roxanne has had to slip in behind Jono Benz, so that move is essentially done. And Jono is released to charge down James Leach. And it's essentially going to be ignoring those blue flags as he feels he's faster. Possibly having put on fresh boots as well, you can't really tell. The track conditions have now improved to actually stay fast. And no sign of rain on the horizon over the next half an hour. 37 minutes left in this race. I don't think the rain's going to make an appearance here at all. So the grip is going to continue to improve lap on lap as the rubber gets laid down. So we'll see some cars going a little bit sideways here. And we're going to leave this battle alone right now and just have a quick check up the field where I'm seeing some close gaps. Sas van der Westhuizen facing down Shiren Raj Paul. Both drivers look like they may have run slightly wide there on that final corner before the main straight. Of course, they'll need to watch out if they are deemed to have gained an advantage there by the built-in game stewards. If they have, I think you get about 3 warnings before the game will start issuing you a drive-through penalty. But yeah, Sass holding P7 for the time being, hunting down Sean Bingham in front of him. Meanwhile, Charles Wilkin, just because you're in front, we won't ignore you. Doing very well for himself. Calm, cool, collected, consistent. 11 laps down and building that lead to P2. Hannes van Wyk is now 5 and almost a half second behind him. So we see the bulk of the pack here on the top end of the field come down the back straight here. Just before the kink of, I think it's through Brundle and Nelson, going through Bomb Hole. Oh, someone's off in the background there. I wonder if we can find out who that is. It's a tricky one. They've certainly recovered by now. Doesn't look like any of the front runners because I haven't seen some major position changes on the tower. Yep, crossing the start-finish line now. Sas van der Veste isn't chasing down Sean Bingham. That gap has come down ever so slightly. Just show you the full table for now of the situation. See Mike LaRue in the pits, currently in P13, now 14, dropping just while he takes that pit stop. So, Mike LaRue here for Venomworks Racing now finding himself in P14. I'm fairly sure we saw him in the pits. I'm not entirely sure why the tower is not reporting his pit stop as being cleared. Hopefully that is just a lag issue with the time of the tower. Not that he accidentally perhaps didn't set the minimum conditions for his pit stop. Jonathan Bentz, meanwhile, still finding himself towards the back of the pack here, being frustrated by some traffic. Coming up the start-finish line here, there's a lot of traffic coming around, and it's all for position. There's a little bit of a back market traffic with Bernardi, but James Leach coming through. I believe behind Renier Leach. Yep. So a couple of shuffles happening in the background is just for blue flag. You see the Benz car coming through on Bernardi. But this is for position. Renier Leach on board now, looking behind towards James Leach. As James Leach gets a little squiggly on exit, that's not going to allow him to close up. As he falls slightly back down. I'm trying to find out what happened to Hannes van Beek, who appears to have dropped off my timing boards. Potentially some sort of DNF here, as it's not even sitting in the pits. So, yeah, if that is the case, sorry to see something has happened to Hannes. Hannes, boys, meanwhile, is still doing alright in P12. Oh, Hannes reporting in the chat has suffered a disconnect yet again. That is deeply unfortunate after you're running for a contention of a podium position. It's super unlucky. The closest battle I have on track at the moment is between the two Leeches, Renier Leach and James Leach. And it looks like one of the Ghostworks Racing team behind, that could be Jono, just trying to make his way back up the field. It is indeed. And he is obviously coming back, having made his pit stop. Technically under blue flag conditions, but he feels he might be faster, and I'm sure is going to be challenging car in front here. Renier Leach. So we'll stay on board with this battle. In fact, we'll go on board in front of the dash cam. Listen out for the squeal of the brakes when John is climbing onto them. Squiggly out there still. It looked like Jono having to correct, as well as Rennie in front of him, and then crack James Leach. You can see how sideways they're all getting through these corners. The conditions certainly still challenging out there. Still searching for grip. And while Rennie has run extremely wide there, I'm not sure if it's going to compromise him enough to suffer a threat of a position here, unless there's an almighty dive by Jono up the inside. We're going to flick to the outside and just check if there's going to be any contact. There's no contact, so he's managed to get that. Ooh, what is going on? Oh no, Jono is suffering a lag spike. Unfortunately, yep, he has come to a complete stop there. We'll need to go and find Renier Leach, who continues. So Jono Bentz, unfortunately, commentator's curse there seems to have just dropped off the radar completely. Cannot pick him up on the tire anymore. The rest of the field still going strong. Thankfully, no lag-induced collisions there. Renier Leach on his way. Still safely behind James. Both of these cars seem to be struggling with grip. And just in the background there, with the pink mirrors, we can see Roxanne Bartle from Grumpy Monkey Sim Racing Academy coming through. Trying to build that gap to the field behind and chasing the cars in front. Coming across the start-finish line now, lap 16. And the pit windows open for about a quarter of an hour left. There's 25 minutes left in this race. And still, essentially, the top 12 or so drivers have yet to make their pit stop. Shavesh Bassoon, meanwhile, one of the front runners, essentially, of the drivers who have made their pit stop, has already leapfrogged James Leach Sr. in P14, and he's looking to make up room to Mike LaRue ahead of him. And he's got a lot of clean air there. We'll go and find another battle on track. A lot of the cars spreading out now. And drivers will be looking to make sure they don't lose their concentration. Put in some nice, clean, consistent laps. Conditions are still squiggly out there. Drivers need to maintain their concentration. It's so easy to just momentarily lapse and make a mistake. It could be very costly here. Sas van der Westhuizen, meanwhile, is hunting down Fridge Findlay. That is not Fridge in front of him, however. That looks like... I think it might be James Leach Sr. It is James Leach Sr., as we can see from the readout on the windscreen. In his bruised and battered BMW. So this is essentially blue flags are going to be waved very shortly. You can see the lights flashing from SAS, just letting James Leach know he's there and he's coming. And there indeed James just pulls off to the side, probably does a slight lift just to ease things, but yeah, SAS is able to get through without any drama. Flashes the thank you light and off he goes. Roxanne Bartle has closed this gap up to Renia Leach now to about half a second. Two of her lights are flashing if that was just an indicator. Indicators, her left indicator is on. A very odd and a rare sight to see on a BMW, someone using their indicator lights. Clearly a malfunction. It's closed up quite a bit now between Roxanne and Renia Leach here. We also saw in the foreground there, just coming through, James Leach still seems to be struggling occasionally with some grip. And I'm going to go on board here, looking back towards not the car I was expecting. It's James Leach, followed by Roxanne Bartle and Renia Leach. And behind him, that is Hardest Boyser. I was trying to pick out all of these cars racing for position. Roxanne tucked right in behind James Leach now. The pressure is really on between these two. Indicator still going. So two close battles here. We'll keep an eye on them. Down the main straight here. Will Roxanne choose to make a move up the inside of T1? He's having a little look. Will it be? No, the door is shut. She has to hang on. Running wide there. Hard on the brakes. In fact, I wonder if she's just outbraked herself there. Running perhaps a little wider than she would have liked to. We'll have a quick look behind Roxanne. In the distance, no sign of Mike LaRue and Renia Leach. Let's see if we can find them. I see Hardest Boyser and Renia Leach are in the pit. Renia Leach is leaving now. Hardest Boyser is already in the pit lane exit. So they have their pit stops done and dusted. Mike LaRue is there. So we have Charles Wilkin in the lead with 90 minutes to go. Ross Bartle, it's about 13-14 seconds behind. I don't think there's any risk of Charles losing out P1 here unless he has a catastrophic failure. Hans van Beek unfortunately was running in third. He has suffered a disconnect and retired. Ridge Finlay has inherited P3 for the time being for Venomworks Racing. The top 10 of this field still have yet to make their pit stops. Looks like much of the field is opting to run very late, perhaps a little splash and dash near the end. Shane Rajpal running about a second behind Sean Bingham there in the distance. That is a blue flag right now. That's blue and black car just in front of Shane Rajpal. And I believe it's the Leach Senior who's pulling over just to let Shane through. Nick Hudson getting all sorts of sideways there coming through. Going to be very interesting to see which one of these top few drivers are going to bite and do their pit stop first. It's always the risk coming into the pits. Anything can happen. How quick you are getting into your box, stopping on the lines, especially in wet conditions. Thankfully it does look like it's dried up for most of the field. You know, no one's locking up anywhere or sliding around on the wrong tire choice. Visibility is fine, there's no spray. Got Chris Bernardi here, still with a nice clean looking BMW. Running in P16, banking some good points for Bernardi Alphabet Racing. To earn points, all you need to do is complete 80% of the laps that the leader has. And looking like no troubles here for all of the finishers in the top 17 by the looks of it. We had 20 starters. Most of the field's pretty much spread out now in the final 13 minutes of this race. Closest battle we have on track is James Leach here. Suddenly just come up behind. We are seeing some blue flags being raised, but I think that is for Bjorn Buchner in the Team Gunston liveries that we can see just ahead of these two, as Sean Bingham, currently on screen in the orange, black and white BM, is racing for position to James Leach behind in the red and blue BMW. And Bjorn should be not defending his position, of course, just should be getting out of the way shortly to allow these leaders to come through. So let's let one. We'll be trying to get a view of this action here as James Leach will be trying to get through Bjorn Buchner as fast as possible to remain in contention here with this battle to Sean Bingham. On board with, yeah, there we go. James is able to get past that back marker. And he will be pushing to continue to catch up to Sean Bingham with just over 10 minutes remaining in this race. And I'm sure that is going to be his goal now. Oh, he's diving to the pits, so he has to take his pit stop. As we see, actually, the pit window indeed is closing in less than a minute's time. So anyone who hasn't taken their pit stop needs to do so right now. And it's Mike LaRue as well, entering the pit just in time as well. And meanwhile, out in front, everyone having just done their pit stops in turn while we were watching that other battle. I haven't seen any mistakes from the field. Looks like everyone has retained their effective positions. Now we're going to keep an eye on Roxanne Bartle now. Actually, she's just passed James Leach and Mike LaRue, who are in the pit. Still got her indicator going. Jumps up into P8. Pit stops are continuing. Hardest Boyce
The pit window is closing now.
Staying just ahead of car number 513. This is one of the Venom Works races. It is Mike LaRue, in fact. So this is a battle here for P10. P9, rather. Artist currently in P9 himself. Just to go on board here, looking behind. This is racing for position. McLaren's Venomworks white, purple, black livery behind. Closing this gap now to under half a second and coming down the main straight. Will he feel like there is an opportunity to make some sort of dive, or does he bide his time? Just another lap or two. He's looking ever so close, but no threatening moves just yet. His goal now is just to hang on to the back of the hardest for a lap or so, perhaps force the mistake. Always find it's easier to chase a car than it is to run in front and defend. It's a lot more pressure of the car up front. You almost have to ignore the car in your mirrors. Trust your own lines, your confidence levels. So if they get too close, you need to start defending your line in position. Still the closest battle out on track here. We're just enjoying the racing here between Mike, trying to close up the gap to Hardest Boyser, and it should be Bassoon, yes, in P11, who's managed to close up the gap to these two as well. So soon it could be a three-way battle here for P9, P10. and Shivish. He's run extremely deep there and right off the track. And that's going to bring him out of this battle. So, we will now have a focused view on Mike LaRue. Still trying to chase down Hardest Boyser. Still for P9 here, the closest battle on track between these two drivers. They've been neck and neck. 3 minutes to go. It's about probably another 2 laps. Will we see a desperation move from Hardest? As we see Shavesh Bassoon again in the background, just going a little bit of a cross-country lawn mowing. He's running out of grip, and there goes Hardest Boyser, also extremely deep there, perhaps just pushing a little too hard. That's just relieved all of the pressure here on Mike LaRue for P9. I'm sure he's going to be breathing a sigh of relief to himself. The relief of that pressure. We'll go and find another battle. Perhaps here, Shren Rajpal, who is looking at the back of Nick Hudson's Grumpy Monkey car in the foreground here. Just got word from Jonathan Bence, who had a disconnect earlier in the race this evening when we were watching that battle, and he's reported that he had a massive power spike at his home and the PC just shut completely off. So yeah, hard luck there, Jonathan Bence. You're looking like you're having a good comeback race, or had some potential. And, yeah, hope your PC is safe. No damaged components.
Right, man. The leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
So we hear from the race engineers there on the pit crew side of the pit wall. The final lap of the race, Charles Wilkin, has just started. And a healthy 10.5 seconds gap he has down to Ross Bartle in P2. So smooth sailing. By the looks of it, I think Charles pretty much led from start to finish here. We'll give him some good screen time here for any of his sponsors. For Hard Motorsport, you can see the livery. And this has been a commanding race, led from start to finish, Charles Wilkin. And a nice comfortable victory here today, leading Ross Bartle and Grumpy Monkey Sim Racing, and Fridge Findlay for his new team, Venomworks Racing. And P3 will be sailing at home. A Stick around. We'll see if we can get some of the podium winners in for a quick commentary interview. It's often interesting to hear how their race went, what their challenges were.
The leader has finished the race.
Across the line we go. Charles Wilkin. Ross Bartle crosses the line now with the fireworks and the music. Rich Findlay surrounding some of the final corners now. And crosses the finish line. There we see in the background flashing of the lights is Sas van der Westhuizen taking it home in P4. I think he looks happy with that. Sean Bingham, meanwhile, will be coming home in P5, crossing the line now. So a solid finish there for Point Blank Sim Racing. Nick Hodgson, Grumpy Monkey Sim Racing, taking home a P6. Shrenrosh Paul close behind in P7. Roxanne Bartle doing extremely well for herself. Not high up position of P8 for Grumpy Monkey Sim Racing Academy. She rounds that final corner, followed by Mike LaRue. Venomworks Racing P8. Coming around the final corners now. I don't think he's going to have any trouble from Shivi Bassoon. He'll be taking home that spot. Sorry, cars are already disconnecting, which is causing some interesting results, incorrect results, shall we say, with the timetables. I'm going to go and see if we can find some of our winners to bring in for a quick interview. And we have Fridge Findlay and Ross Bartle so far in the commentary booth. I'm hopefully going to see Charles Wilkin as well. But yeah, let's start with P3. Fridge, congrats. How's it going?
Thank you. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Excellent.
First podium, so.
Yeah, excellent. First podium, and with your new team livery as well, Venomworks Racing.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
A good way to join the team with a podium win. I'm sure your captain's going to be happy with that one.
Yeah, definitely. I think they should be, hopefully.
How'd you find the conditions out there today? It looked like rain in qualifying, but race was dry.
Yes, yeah, I was quite pleased that it just stayed the same and that we didn't get rain halfway through, because that would have thrown a cat amongst the pigeons. And I think I was quite lucky the way it worked out. So yeah, happy.
Excellent, great one. And Ross, congrats with your P2. Tell us, how'd your race go today? Everything according to plan?
Not entirely, thanks Ryan. So it could have been better, but yeah, I think just lack of prep this week. Unfortunately, I had the flu. Wasn't even sure if I was going to do this one, so yeah, I just hung it in there really. Made a few too many mistakes, and yeah, is what it is. I think congratulations to Charles. I'm pretty sure that's championship sewn up.
Yeah,
so
I believe
congrats.
It might be Charles. Welcome, and congrats again for P1. Looks like it was a commanding lead throughout quali and start of the race to the end of the race. So yeah, congrats.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I was expecting it to be a little bit closer, but yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did see a disconnect or two. Hannes van Wyk was running up in the podium contentions and then suffered a disconnect. So unfortunately, but yeah, that brought a gap. I think he was perhaps just in front of you at one point, Ross, in between Charles Wilkin. But is what it is. Sometimes that's racing. And yeah, don't take anything away from your victory today, Charles. So congrats on that. And yeah, you might have the... I don't have the championship standings with me, but I believe you may have that now wrapped up in the bag with just 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ryan.
Right, guys. We're going to call it there. We'll all see you in the next race for simM2, which is going to be at Brands Hatch to essentially round up the championship. And yeah, thanks for joining me, guys, in the booth, and all the best. Take care.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Cheers.
All right, thanks. And to our YouTube viewers, everyone who tuned in today or is going to be watching the replay offline in some point in the future, thank you very much for joining. If any of the viewers also interested in racing with us, I'm going to put a little stinger up on the stream now. Our website address, www.simracesa.co.za. You can join anytime. We essentially don't close off our signups. It's completely free. There's a voluntary charity donation. But yeah, come and join our Discord server. Come and chat to us, and we'd love to have you. And with that, I will see you in the next round. We do have a couple other championships on the go. I believe the next race is going to be the GT race, and we are up for round 6, which is going to be the Watkins Glen. And then before you know it, we'll have the GP series, the open wheelers again, coming up with Spa, and then we'll be back, as we said, with the final M2 race of the season at Brands Hatch. But yeah, with that, thanks everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.